Hey everyone, if I look tired to you right now, it's because I have 32 hours logged in Doom the Dark Ages before the game has even come out. And also, I'm wearing eyeliner, and I won't explain that. So I was fortunate enough to get a review code for Doom the Dark Ages, and this video is going to be unscripted. I have nothing in front of me to keep my points down. I'm probably going to leave in a lot of goofs and gaffs, like how I just bumped over my words just now. But that's the kind of video this is going to be, because my full video for Doom the Dark Ages is going to be coming later, and also I can't spoil the game yet, and my videos tend to go really heavy into spoilers, so that's just not the kind of video you're getting here. These are my raw first impressions 32 hours later. It's kind of hard to put into words how good this game is. It has turned me into a believer that modern id is able to make any game good if they are really making something. I can word that better. Doom 2016 was a great game. Doom Eternal, in my opinion, was a better game. Not perfect, still probably a better game for a lot of people. And this one is just, it just blows the others out of the water. I don't know what else. It's so hard for me to think of how to talk about this, and I will talk about it, but it's so hard for me to talk about this without spoiling it. But luckily I'm able to talk about just about every weapon in the game, a lot of the upgrades, because a lot of that has already been shown through official social media and announcement. I will be talking about those, and I'm sorry that if you are the kind of person who's like, I saw the background of this one level and that's a spoiler for me, click off this video right now. You're going to be seeing a lot of levels and weapons and all that kind of stuff in this video. If you're that kind of person that considers that stuff to be a spoiler, get out now. It took me a bit to understand what kind of gameplay loop they were asking me to do in this game. With Doom Eternal, it was super apparent. Like 2016 didn't really have too much of like a focused combat loop. It was just kind of like play how you want. It's just that these are the best ways to use these weapons. Whereas Eternal was like, all right, these weapons work best in these situations. We're going to put you into scenarios where you need to choose when and where to use those weapons and tools, your frag grenades, your ice bombs, what you want to use for crowd control, what you'd rather use to pummel one big demon, stuff like that. What the Dark Ages has done is consolidate a lot of those systems from Doom Eternal. They are still there in some capacity, but put a lot of it into the shield. I'm not kidding when I say this. I think that the shield might be one of the most satisfying items, if not weapons, in any video game that I've played. It is insane the amount of stuff that you can do with the shield, as well as, you know, use it like an actual shield. Yeah, you're going to be blocking a lot with it, but early on they tell you like all of these ways that you can use it offensively. There's a shield bash, which is basically just the equivalent of the meat hook. You have a meat hook at your disposal at all times, and it goes off cooldown pretty quick, so you can just fly around the arena with like about 1 second cooldown in between. You can throw it, which will cut through a bunch of demons. You can upgrade it to have a wider range. You can upgrade it to have it bounce in between enemies with a plasma shield, so it just kind of ping pongs between them and makes this really satisfying noise when it does. That just sounds like a plinko machine. Pachinko. I don't remember the difference. But then you could throw it into a larger demon, like the pinkies, or even the stalker imps, which are the new imps that look like the old imps, and it gets stuck in them. You can shoot them. It's basically, in that function, it's the ice grenade. You're freezing certain demons. Explaining this in Doom Eternal terms, it is your frag grenade, it is your ice grenade, it is your meat hook, it is the buckler parry from Elden Ring, because you're going to be parrying a lot of things that happen to be green in this game. Shout out to my green screen. There's a combo with it, with one of the nail guns in the game, because there's two of them. The weapons are like divided into classes. So there's two nail gun weapons, and the first one's like this automatic weapon you get in the first level, and there's an upgrade you can get for it that when you throw a shield into that enemy, into one of the heavier, really only the heavy demons, because super heavies can't get penetrated by it, but as long as the shield is stuck inside of that enemy and you shoot that enemy with the nail guns will ricochet into everything nearby, and it's just like, this is fantastic for crowd control. Like, you'll have a group of fodder demons, which fodder demons can't be glory killed like in the previous games, but you'll throw it into like one of the larger demons that's nearby, and even if you don't have that upgrade for your shield that extends the range of the damage for throwing it, you can just tag that one heavy demon, start pummeling it with the nails, and it just auto targets everything nearby. And it's not a big range, but it's enough to make a difference, and like those ricocheting nails do extra damage, and it's so much fun. And that's just one of the weapons that you get it in the first level of the game. You don't get that upgrade till later, but it's viable. And I think that kind of leads into an important point that I wanted to really stress with this game, that like 2016, every weapon for the most part is viable. Let me make sure I'm not violating. Am I violating the rules by explaining this? Hold on, let me check what was I talking about before I got sidetracked, by making sure that I'm not going off track. Maybe it doesn't matter. All right, before I get too far in this video, I have a sponsor obligation. I was going to put this on my Doom 1 redo video that I was working on before this, but then this happened and it took up all of my time. So here's a jarring sponsor read from a sponsor that I did not expect to have to do a sponsor for, but I might have ordered from them before, so who knows? I'm not saying I did. This video is sponsored by Adam and Eve. Wow. Guys, did you know that if you go to adamandeve.com and use code TRAV, T-R-A-V, you can get 50% off one item plus free shipping in the US and Canada, plus free rush processing? Isn't that really cool? Thank you, Adam and Eve, for sponsoring this video. What a weird time we live in. Glory kills. That's an important one. So you can't glory kill fodder demons this time. So there's the heavy demons and then the super heavies, which can be glory killed. If you've been watching a lot of the presentations about the game, you've probably seen a orange circle that'll flash around them and their body glows in orange, and then another one that's purple. You might think that the orange is glory kill because of, that's how previous Doom games have worked. But the orange is actually closer to when you stagger a Marauder in Doom Eternal, and the blue stars appear above their head. Not the ones in Tag 2 when you hit them with a hammer, but the blue ones. I'm pretty sure they're blue from Eternal, to just show like, hey, this enemy's stunned. Which, to be fair, most of the enemies in the game had a stun, but with the Marauder, they made it obvious, and in the Dark Ages, they made it apply to most demons. This can be because you shield bashed an imp. It could be because you meleeed a lower weapon or lower tier enemy, like the imp stalkers. If you melee them with anything, they'll immediately go into a stagger. That's a term I'm going to use, stagger. When you hit them with the stagger, you see that orange. And so especially when you're dealing with a higher level enemy later on, like the super heavies, you'll know, hey, I can go in for the melee punch, and melee is how you get your ammo back in this game. The melee system is a lot like the chainsaw and the blood punch from Eternal put into one. So how do I explain that? It's not like the blood punch in that you need to glory kill to charge it. It's like the blood punch in more melee hits just hit hard. And these are your only melee hits. You don't have that dinky melee that you had in the previous game. It is a hard-hitting punch that will one-shot most fodder demons. What you'll do is you'll either choose, do I want to use my melee for fodder demons to get my ammo back, because killing them with a melee, or just hitting them, you don't even have to kill them, just hitting them with a melee will get you some ammo back. You start with 3 charges for your melee, but like for the imp stalkers, which are, I keep going back to them, they're basically the first heavy demon you're going to encounter. You can kill them with a 3-hit combo. Your 3rd hit on the combo does a lot of extra damage. But if you just want ammo back and you're in the heat of the moment and the closest thing to you is a fodder demon, yeah, you're going to use that melee. It charges back gradually over time. It has a recharge, but parrying will reduce that charge. If I'm not mistaken, you can parry and it will just give you 1 melee charge back. So you can use that with the larger enemies that try to hit you in those multiple hits. It'll have like 3 different green swings that you have to parry each of them before they stagger, but you have enough time, assuming that you're playing with the default settings. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but you have enough time to like come in, parry the first swing, get a melee hit in, assuming that you're close enough, and then they won't be staggered yet, but you have enough to do that quick hit. They'll come in for another hit, boom, melee, they'll come in for another hit, which should hopefully stagger them, parry it, and then you still hit them with the 3rd hit of that combo, which does extra damage. And then sometimes, in some cases, they'll knock you farther away, and then if you're able to react quick enough, you're able to pull out your shield and shield bash them, which will rush you right back in, and then you just keep going, and it's so much fun. And you have the shield at your disposal always. It is always there. You can always shield bash with it, assuming that it's not on cooldown. You can always throw it. You can always block. I guess blocking is important. It will be important later on. Early on, I had a really hard problem with remembering that I have this tool that is essentially my dash from Eternal. I can dash into enemies, but functionally it is also similar. I can put up the shield, use it to walk to the side without taking damage, basically in the same way that I would use a dash in Doom Eternal. I don't know, man. It's stupid fun. I don't know how they did it, and I'm glad that they didn't one-up Eternal. They didn't try to go faster. They didn't try to make it more vertical. They just made it similar similar enough that someone like me would understand these systems, but it's also different enough that I think that the people who didn't like Eternal but like 2016 will have a really easy time with this one. Well, not easy, but like they'll have a better time understanding the systems that are here, because every weapon is viable. There's like no emphasis on weapon swapping at all, because I'm basically going to be using that just for the shield. What I've noticed is it seems to be divided into right-handed actions and left-handed actions. Your left hand always being the shield, your right hand being the gun, but also your melee, at least the starting hit, but like functionally it is a right hand motion. So you're able to hold down mouse 1 with a super shotgun, just keep bringing in that constant pressure onto the enemies, but when they eventually come in for a melee attack that you are able to parry, because you can't parry all of them, you can't block all of them, but you can't parry all of them. As long as it's green, you can parry it, but you can just keep holding mouse 1, right click to block an incoming hit without releasing mouse 1, and the Doom guy will continue to just blast in away with his super shotgun, or any weapon, whatever you're holding. He does put the weapon away when you pull up the shield, so it kind of encourages you to try to tap the shield. Obviously, it's going to make parrying harder, because the parry window is pretty forgiving. It's not that complicated, or rather, it's not that punishing. That's probably a better term to use. But, you know, you're still going to be trying to get the least amount of time with your shield up so that you can keep putting the pressure on with your guns. Movement is not as emphasized as in Eternal. Like classic Doom, there is running with shift, and you can only run forward. If you're walking back or left or right, you're not going to be moving as fast even if you're holding shift, which might turn some people off, but promise me, just go with it, because it starts to come together. I do recommend turning on auto sprint and turning off screen effects, because when you're sprinting, it does like this motion, like woo, things are moving by your face. It's like blue in the corner. It'll get rid of that. When you are sprinting forward, you do this leap that's way higher. It's probably closer to like the Doom Eternal jump, because you don't double jump in this game. You can, what's the term, mule jump, donkey jump? You know, in Donkey Kong Country, when you would roll off of the ledge and then jump midair, like it would like give you like a way to extend that jump. You can basically do that. As long as you run off of a cliff, you can still jump. So you can run off a cliff, jump halfway through, reach farther. It's a little forgiving there with platforming. When you're strafing, you know, you're not going to be moving as quickly as you're sprinting forward. So they really want you to hold your ground with that shield, which the weapons definitely complement that. The chain shot is amazing for one-on-one fights. The skull crusher, skull gun, whatever it's called, is great at crowd control for fodder demons, but then there's also a variant of it that's more focused. It's like the chain gun, basically. All of the weapons just work so well, and I kind of wish that quick swapping was an option, because it would be so much fun if you could swap weapons faster and be able to switch between these systems, because each weapon is viable on their own. Like, you can go through entire arenas just using that weapon for every demon that comes up, as long as you're using your shield when it's appropriate. But each of the weapons have different systems to it. The one thing that I haven't talked about so far in terms of like resource management is armor, and that system from Eternal where heat equals armor, fire in that case, is still here, but it's less, how would I describe it? It's been spread along other systems. The combat shotgun, you can get an upgrade for it that lets it heat up, which will make it so that like the more you keep shooting this one enemy with the combat shotgun, the more on fire it'll get, until it reaches a maximum point where it'll just keep dropping armor shards forever. The flail gets a similar upgrade where everything you kill with it will also drop armor because it superheats it. And then with shield enemies, there's two types of shield enemies. There's ones with plasma and there's ones with solid metal shields, and you can keep shooting it, and it's so much fun. You keep shooting it with your weapon of choice. Other weapons work better. And then you throw your shield at it and it'll explode. Everything nearby will die, assuming that they're small, and every one of those enemies, because they appear in lines, that's holding one of those metal shields will just blow up with armor shards. There's so many armor shards. I'm just trying to say that it's a really fun game. I don't know how much more I could say without like getting into spoilers. So if I have anything to give you before the game comes out in 6 days, 3 days for some of you, remember to use your shield as a shield, not just purely offense. Experiment with weapons, experiment with settings. Before you start a new game, it gives you a rundown of a bunch of sliders and modifiers that you can change, like how long you want the parry window to be available. If you're having too easy of a time with it, you could turn it down, or if you want it easier for you, you can do that too. Same with for how long demons are staggered for either staggering or getting set for a glory kill. I'm forgetting the term that we used in Eternal. Dazed? Whatever. You're able to change the game speed. Like, it caps out at 150%. What you're looking at here is footage of me playing the opening level with all of the sliders set to their most difficult setting. It is running at 150 speed. I only deal like 20% the amount of damage that I'm normally doing, and I take like 200% the amount of damage. It's insane. It's crazy fun. I don't think I'll ever be able to beat that on Ultra Nightmare. Maybe I'll try. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's too early for me to say that the game is better than Eternal and better than 2016, even though earlier in the video I said it's, you know, blows them out of the water. But I really want to say it. I really want to say that it's better than Eternal, which is giving me a bit of a crisis, because now that I'm thinking about it, like, I'll see this as like, damn, this is a better game in every way. Are they going to deliver something better than this in the future? Because they've got an amazing track record so far. All right, let's talk performance. Performance is kind of important. I'm able to run the game on Ultra Nightmare settings at 140 FPS on my 3070 Ti with a Ryzen 5900X, I think, something along those lines. I have like 120 gigs of RAM in my computer, so I don't know how much that affects it. But I do have to play it with DLSS set to balanced at a minimum. If I have it on pretty, whatever the DLSS setting is for looking nice, it's not gonna run as well. When I ran the game for the first time and it auto suggested my overall performance, it put me on low, which did give me a bit of worry, but I was able to turn it up to Ultra Nightmare after updating my drivers, and it ran perfect. I didn't experience any crashes with the game. I thought I experienced a game-breaking soft lock, but it turned out it was because I had my game settings set to disable button prompts on the screen, because I didn't need it for combat, but I forgot that I got rid of the use command, so I just got stuck for a little bit, which sucked, and then I found out it was my own fault. But like the previous Doom games, I'm just kind of backtracking a little bit. The previous Doom games didn't have as much of an emphasis on kind of like sitting farther back in an arena and just firing into the crowd of enemies as they come to you. And I feel like as an attempt to call back to that sort of like classic playstyle of either circle strafing around the enemies, not doing like any platforming, and just kind of like firing and dealing with enemies as they come to you, they nailed it. Yeah, the shield is a little bit on the nose as like a meta thing of like, you know, you gotta play defensively against these demons that are bringing the offensive to you, but it works so well, and it's so fun. And not every demon has like close range parries. Some of them, like the Revenants, if you get too close to them, they won't do moves that you can parry. You have to keep your distance with them, assuming that you want to keep them on lock. It's all of those systems that work together so damn well that I have not been able to stop playing it since I got my code the other day. I'm currently in the process of trying to 100% it. There's one level where I swear just one of the pickups just isn't appearing, but I'm pretty sure that it's because I'm just too stupid. There's other places where upgrades work differently, rather than giving you points that you earn through combat and challenges. The challenges are still there, but for the most part, like, you're not really being graded for how well you do in an encounter, and I think that's deliberate. I think that it's because like they don't want to put pressure on you or make you feel that you have to play in a specific way. Shut the fuck up. You have the freedom to choose what weapons you want to use against what enemies. All the weapons work in some capacity. You're not going to be graded on like how quickly you got through the level or how well you did taking out all of the demons. It's just, hey, if you did it and you explored and you did these challenges, that's enough. Here's your upgrade points. I think that's about it. That's mostly what I can say before I have to get into spoilers. Thank you for listening this far, and thank you to Bethesda. I'm sure one of you over there is listening to me. I hope so. I'm sorry if I said too much. Just please let me know in DMs before I have to take this video down. Yeah, I think that's about it. I got most of that off my chest. It's like a confession. If you're at Bethesda and you're watching this, please let me know. I would love to hear what you thought about what I thought about your product. My proper video for this is in production. I'm starting it as of right now. If you're watching this video right now, I'm probably, hold on, a brain fart. If you're watching this video right now, I'm probably either asleep or working on my main video for it, which will be up way later because I'm moving this month and I will not be able to give it the time that I feel like it needs. I'm moving basically across the country, so that'll be fun. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. How many times can I say that before the video ends? Yeah, I think that's it. Let me know in the comments what you think the coolest part of Doom the Dark Ages will be, with being completely wrong. There's a better way I could word that. What do you think? Guys, what's the coolest part of Doom the Dark Ages? Wrong answers only.